David possessed knowledge that many were unaware of. In chapter 17 of the book of 1 Samuel, the confrontation between the army of Israel and the Philistines, led by their imposing warrior Goliath, is narrated. During a visit to the camp to see his older brothers, David encountered Goliath for the first time. Webster's New World Dictionary defines courage as the willingness to face and deal with situations recognized as dangerous, difficult, or painful, rather than avoiding them, demonstrating an absence of fear or bravery. The Philistines had positioned themselves for battle near the valley of Elah, southwest of Jerusalem and close to Gath. Saul and his soldiers gathered nearby, separated by the valley of Elah. For 40 days, Goliath, a giant from the Philistine army, daily challenged the Israelites to send a worthy warrior to face him. Goliath's appearance caused terror among the Israelites. According to 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 11, Saul and the Israelites were terrified upon hearing Goliath's words. Underestimating Goliath was a mistake, as he was a man of colossal proportions. His spear had a tip weighing about 15 pounds, and his armor weighed around 125 pounds, with an estimated height between 9 and 11 feet. Fear was the common reaction in the camp, even in the king himself. During a visit to the battlefield to bring provisions to his 3 brothers, David witnessed the giant's insults and the fear reflected on the faces of the Israelite soldiers. Despite being young and underestimated, David was not intimidated by fear, an unexpected attitude for someone his age. This is illustrated in 1 Samuel chapter 17, 26-30, where David asks the men around him, "What will be done for the man who kills this Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The men replied that the man who killed him would be rewarded. His older brother Eliab, upon hearing his words, became angry with David, accusing him of arrogance and of having come to the camp just to watch the battle. But David replied, "Now what have I done? Can't I even speak?" He then moved away from Eliab and repeated his question to another, receiving the same answer. Despite his brother's lack of confidence and even King Saul's, David persisted. When his words reached Saul, he called for him. David said to him, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." But Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." However, after listening to David, Saul agreed to let him face Goliath. Even Goliath underestimated him. In 1 Samuel chapter 17, 41-43, it is described how the Philistine approached David and, upon seeing him, ridiculed him for being a young man of good appearance. He said, "Am I a dog, that you come at me with sticks?" Then he cursed David by his gods. Despite Goliath's contempt, his brothers, and the kings, David advanced with determination, ignoring each slight. Why wasn't David afraid while the entire army of Israel, including Saul, was terrified? The first reason was his confidence in the true and living God. In 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 26, David declares that the uncircumcised Philistine had defied the armies of the living God, showing that his focus was on defending God's honor, not on the dangers of battle. David saw the challenge from a spiritual perspective, while the Israelites saw it from a merely human perspective. When Goliath threatened him, David responded, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." The second reason for his bravery was his past experience of divine protection. David recounted to Saul how God had delivered him from the lion and the bear when he was shepherding his father's sheep. "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine," he stated with conviction. With this faith, David faced Goliath, and when the giant advanced towards him, David ran to the battle line. He took a stone from his bag, slung it, and struck Goliath on the forehead, bringing him down. Then, with Goliath's sword, he cut off his head. Seeing this, the Philistines fled, and the Israelites obtained victory. This story teaches us that true courage comes from our relationship with God. Trusting in His power enables us to face any challenge, no matter how great it may seem. Although we may experience fear, we can move forward with faith, knowing that God is with us and will strengthen us. As Christians, we are called to show courage in our daily lives, defending the truth and acting with integrity. The story of David and Goliath inspires us to trust in God, face our giants, and proclaim His glory in our lives. With God on our side, there is no obstacle too great that we cannot overcome.